Hello, everyone! I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to another adventure in GregTech New Horizons. So, I've just been admiring my brand new EBF, which we set up last time, and today I want to get this thing operational. So, let's get into it. So, if we want to get this EBF over here operational today, we're going to have to do a couple of things. Now, I've been doing some work underneath to get some power prepared so that we can actually power this thing. So that's the first thing we're going to need to do. We're going to need to get power into these two LV energy hatches right here. And this is going to need 4 amps of LV power. So it is going to need quite a bit of power. So I've set up some stuff underneath so that we can try and power this thing. But in addition to that, there are a few other things we're going to need to do. The other one is we need to solve the remaining maintenance issues that we have. Now, most of these are pretty easy. Soft mallet, hammer, crowbar, we have those. But the circuitry burnt out soldering is the one we don't have. So we're going to need to make a soldering iron today so that we can get that sorted out and figure out all those maintenance issues finally. And then we also need to set the fluids. Or at least have some sort of a system for that. Because if we take a look at some of the ingots we may want to make in the EBF, for example, a steel ingot, you're going to need oxygen for this. So we are going to need to get some oxygen set up in order to actually run that. And I figure, well, we have oxygen being produced downstairs, so we might as well try and pump it into here. But we also need other fluids for other things. For example, if we look at aluminium inside of the EBF itself, well, if we look at this recipe right here, raw aluminium, which is basically putting aluminium dust inside of a compressor, you need nitrogen in order to run this. Now, you could actually run it without the fluid, but it actually takes longer. It's actually better, and we do have a ton of nitrogen. We're not using it. Now, this isn't even the best aluminium recipe right here, because the one we're going to want to use is actually this one, alumina dust and cryolite, to give you 4 in 80 seconds. This one only gives you 1 in 60 seconds, so it's not nearly as good, actually. But if we have to run this, because this is quite a bit of cryolite and alumina, we're going to start running out of that at some point. So we might need a backup source of this, so that would require quite a bit of nitrogen, which we have, and we're not using any nitrogen, so I figure we might want to have a steady supply of nitrogen as well. And that got me thinking, what are the uses of these different gases inside the EBF? Well, if we look at oxygen, you'll see there are 42 different pages, and you make various things. Steel, you make some of these roasted ones, which I don't think we really care about those. But there was some other ones I think that were interesting. Redstone alloy. That's another one we're going to want soon, so we need to get oxygen for redstone alloy to be made in the blast furnace, and there's some other ones as well. And if we take a look at nitrogen, there's actually 99 different recipes for nitrogen, so it seems quite important. Cobalt, we can make that inside of there with some cobalt dust, which we have, so that's quite good. And, well, there's a ton of other things as well. So we need different fluids for this EBF to run right here. And if we come to the quest EBF time again right here, there is an interesting thing it says down here. It says, if you want a really fancy EBF, you can add more input fluid hatches and store different fluids in each one. So what I've done is we actually have 2 different input hatches here now. And basically, what I was thinking was we could use them to fill in different things. Now, initially, let's head down there, actually, so I can show you what I'm actually doing. So what we basically have down here is we have this quadruple bond fluid pipe coming up from below. Where we have our tanks, which are actually right here. We have some oxygen and nitrogen. Again, nitrogen's just completely full up. Oxygen, we are starting to build up again. Since I've stopped producing polyethylene for the time being, we have plenty of it. And we need the oxygen for the CBF as well. But what I initially had was we have this pipeline up here, which is bringing up oxygen and nitrogen up here. And I was going to fill one of these with oxygen and one of these with nitrogen, which was my initial thought. Now, I was having a look through the uses of nitrogen. Again, there are 99 of these, but I was looking at these, and what you have to consider with the EBF is the amount of power it uses, which 120 EU a tick MV is what we are currently able to do. I know it says MV, but we're using 4 amps to power this of LV power, so technically that's what we would be doing. So MV is what we currently have, but you also have to look at the heat capacity, and the number to focus on here, well, not the number, but what you want to focus on here is this word here, which is the copper nickel. That's the type of coil that we currently have on the EBF up there. So if we look around the nitrogen uses, well, we can make something called solarium with nitrogen. We can make the aluminum, but of course we have a better recipe for that. And we can make cobalt, which is an interesting one. But if we look at the other ones, well, whatever this thing is needs canthal, which is not the coils we currently have. And, well, if we keep scrolling along here, I'm not seeing much more in terms of uses for copper nickel. So it's got me thinking that maybe I shouldn't directly pump nitrogen into one of these input hatches. Now, oxygen, absolutely. We're going to need tons of steel. We're going to need tons of redstone alloy in the future so that we can make the lossless cables. But the nitrogen, I really don't know if we're going to use it that much. So I feel like all these quadruple bond fluid pipes, were quite a bit of pipes actually, were kind of a bit of a waste, because I think the only thing I need to be pumping directly in is oxygen, and maybe I saved the second one for something else, because I was also taking a look at other fluids. So let's see, hydrogen. I was wondering, is this used in the EBF? And the answer actually is yes, this is also used in the EBF for something. The only one I think we can make right now is audite. We can make audite ingots with hydrogen, so we could use it for that. I don't know how much audite we might need, but, well, that's an option as well. I wonder if there's anything else we can use. Maybe, I don't know why we would use chlorine, but is it used in the EBF at all? Oh, it is used in the EBF, actually, to make whatever that is. Or whatever that is. Okay, that doesn't seem too useful. I don't know what any of these things are here, but apparently chlorine could also be used if you want for something. So I think what we're going to do is, I think I'm actually just going to hook up oxygen for now. So I'll probably have to rejig this at some point, but at the very least, I want to set up oxygen into one of these today. And yeah, I don't really need these quadruple pipes anymore, so I'll probably have to replace it. But for now, what we need to do is we need to set this thing up here. So we need to do a fluid filter cover. So I actually had these made up. The initial plan, like I said, was going to be we were going to pump one of these into here, and then so oxygen in here, nitrogen in here, but I just don't think it's worth it to put the nitrogen in. So I had these fluid filters so that we could actually direct which way the oxygen and nitrogen were going to go. But since I still have this here, we do need to direct it, at least for the time being, till I replace these pipes with normal ones. So in fact, actually, I don't think I actually showed how I set this up before, because we set it up down there below. Well, I did that before. So what we're going to do is we need to right-click on this pipe here and look into this, and it brings up this. So what I have to do is just drag in the oxygen into this filter slot, put in filter output, and if I was sending nitrogen the other way, I would actually have to turn that on as well, I think, but I don't think I have to for this. So all I need, I think, is just 2 small pipes. Make sure we get the arrows on you. And there we go. We're getting oxygen straight on into there, I believe. Lovely. So I think what we'll just do is we'll keep this one stocked up with oxygen at all times. This one we can fill with something else as we need to. So if we do need to put nitrogen in there, I can just do it on an as-need basis. If we need to use hydrogen, we can do that as well. I think that's the current plan we'll do. But yeah, I'll have to replace these pipes again. But for now, this is fine. And yeah, all right, we set up the oxygen. Right. So now that we've sorted that out, let's actually do it the power. So as you can probably tell over here, I brought up some steam. This is coming from way down, the big tank we have at the bottom. And we are bringing that up to here. And I have 4 slots for 4 steam turbines. So we're going to try and power this thing with steam. Now, I should also point out this steam line right here is only giving us steam up to here. It's a whole new line I shot off from the tank down below. So this is running nothing else, so all the power from this steam line should be coming directly towards the EBF, except for this offshoot here, which is powering our circuit area, but that's only 2 turbines. I think we should have more than enough steam in this line here to support that. So we're going to put these turbines in here, and we're going to need to connect those over to here. So this is how we're going to run this thing, and I am going to need cables, which I actually realize I don't have. Do I have any actually over here? I don't have them on me. Let's see. Cables. We have 4 times 10 cables. We have 4. That actually might be just enough for what we need. We'll see. Yeah, I think it is going to be just enough. Right, so we need to go ahead and put the tin cables. We are going to need a wire cutter, and we are going to need to go to sleep because it is nighttime. So let's go to sleep here quick. Right, so let's go ahead then and hook this thing up right here. So, tin cables will go here, and again, 4 times because we're sending 4 amps through. There we go. So that's all hooked up. Right, so now we can head back up to the top here. And we are going to grab a low voltage battery buffer. So the low voltage battery buffer is going to go right here, and this is going to need, of course, some batteries, but the basic plan is we're going to bring in these two. So this thing's going to give off 4 amps, basically, once I give it 4 batteries, and we should be able to power the EBF with those, but we are going to need batteries, so let's go grab some of those over here quick, and in fact, actually, let's actually make some fresh batteries because I want to make sure that the power is actually working just to make sure everything works. So let's actually quickly run down here and grab some lithium then. Do have some, I believe. Lithium, there we go. We just need 8. Should be more than enough. Okay, there we go. And then, what was the machine you use again? I think it was the... No, not the fluid cannon, the basic cannon, but I need the holes, which are in here. There we go. Right, let's put those in there, and we should get our batteries. There we go. That will give us, I think, 4 new lithium batteries. So we'll go ahead and test out the charge and all that to make sure we're getting that set up. And... oh, I didn't set the output for this, did I? There we go. Lovely. Right, there we go. 3 lithium batteries, and 4th one. Alright, so let's go over here and put these in, and let's see if these are actually going to start getting power. There we go, lovely. Alright, so these are starting to fill up now with power, and that does seem to be doing quite fine. We're getting 122 EU a tick into here. So... yep, that does seem to be working. Right, we'll let those charge up, and then we'll connect those wires, or the cables here to the energy hatches. So, while we're waiting for that, then, let's finally go ahead and try and deal here with this soldering iron thing right here. So, if we come over to our crafting area, and also, by the way, you might have noticed I have added a hazmat suit over here, and... so, I've been doing some testing. Last time, we had some issues here, where I've been getting the effects of pollution, and I'm still not quite sure why we're getting it, but I have narrowed it down. So the little crafting area we have right here is actually in a separate chunk, and I believe this is the chunk where we're getting hit by the pollution effects. If I stand here long enough, I'm going to get hit by it. Let's see if that happens. It happened a couple of times last episode, and it's been happening, since that episode. It is strange. It didn't happen before. It feels like it's only been happening since I moved those from... well, where they were over here to over there, and I'm not really sure why that was. But, we're not getting it so far. Yeah, usually by now we would. Oh, there we go. Yep, there it is. Slowness and weakness, too. So I'm getting it when I stand in this chunk right here, which is really strange because we don't really have much pollution stuff going on here. And also, when there's pollution, isn't there usually, like, that heavy kind of smog stuff? Well, I mean, for example, if I come over here... and stand next to these things, you'll see it pretty quickly. Yep, there it is. I get hit by that heavy smog that pops up. And there's an ink sac. Let's throw that away. Turn off the magnet. So, it's really strange because I'm not getting that when I stand in here. But what I've done is I've moved over my hazmat suit, and I actually have a redstone block under this. This is on an armor stand. And basically what you can do is you can just come here, shift right-click, and it will automatically switch you into the gear on the armor stand. So if I have to come in here for now, I can just change over to that. But I think we're going to have to invest in the air filter at some point. But I'm still not sure, though, why this chunk here is so polluted. I mean, if we come down here, the only thing that's actually, I believe, causing pollution from directly in that chunk, and I know pollution can spread from chunk to chunk, but it's these right here. These do give off a little bit of pollution, the fireboxes. So we have the solid and liquid fuel boiler firebox. So if we look at those quickly, it says they cause 20 pollution per second per firebox, each of them. And we should have 18 in total. So that is... how much pollution would that be? 360? So I don't know how much that would be, but we weren't really getting issues before. I mean, these have been set up for a while, so I can't imagine pollution just suddenly built up to levels where we're getting hit by that, but maybe it is. But I think the easiest solution would be just to get the air filter set up, and this will hopefully solve itself, because I think the air filter can cover 3x3 areas, so I'm thinking of putting it in this chunk probably further down below, because I don't think the Y level matters. And that should scan the chunks we have the biggest issues with, which seems to be centered around this area, because we have those there, and we're getting hit in this one. I don't know, but that seems to be enough, I hope. We'll see. I mean, I know I could just disable pollution, but I think it adds a little bit of an extra challenge. I kind of enjoy it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there, but I just wanted to let you know about that, because it was a bit of a strange one last time. So anyways, we need to get on with this soldering alloy right here, or soldering iron, excuse me. So the difference in making this, so this is an electric tool, and the difference, I think, is just the bolt type. So we should be able to make this out of, let's just do steel. Do we have any steel bolts? No, we don't, but I can get one pretty easily, I think, by cutting a steel rod in the cutting machine. Should give us a steel bolt. Let's see if we can get that in. There we go. We just needed the one, but get a couple extra as well. I guess I could have turned those into screws, but I'll put those there with the other bolts for now. Right, so steel bolt, soldering iron. It does need a steel rod. Every one of them does. So, and it does need a lithium battery, which I will supply. And what else are you going to need? Oh, you're going to need a rubber sheet. There you go. Now, I think we'll need to do this one manually, actually, as well. So, let's grab the steel rod, and let's figure out how we make this thing. So, soldering iron. Small lithium battery goes there. Rubber sheet. Steel rod. Steel bolt. File. Screwdriver. File. Screwdriver. Okay, maybe we can't make this thing out of steel then. Let's try and see if iron works. I do have a couple of iron bolts. No, iron doesn't work either. Alright, let's look up the uses for this. Ah, okay. Iron rod. Okay, that actually worked, and I just got hit again. Let me wear this. The idea, actually, the reason I put this here is I can wear this if I'm in the crafting area so I don't get hit by that anymore. That's why I moved it over here. Because if you wear the hazmat suit, you don't get hit by the effects. Alright, we need an iron rod for that. Maybe actually a steel one will work. Where is the... Let me look up the uses of steel bolt. Yeah, you need an iron rod for that. Okay, interesting. Alright, let's put that back. And do I have any iron rods? There we go. There's one. There we go. Soldering iron LV. Lovely. Okay, so that is a brand new tool. Let's put that back on. And that is a new quest as well. Better than duct tape. I think that was here. There it is. So, using a soldering iron tool to remove the burned out circuits message is cheaper than duct tape. The soldering iron requires one soldering material item and 10,000 EU. Valid soldering materials are fine wires, rods, and ingots made from either tin, lead, or soldering alloy. The soldering iron will consume the first such material it finds in the player's inventory, since you'll likely have more than enough fine wires. The soldering alloy are probably best. Other uses for the soldering iron: it will adjust the redstone strength from weak to strong. While holding it, all pipes, wires, and cables will look very small so that you can see everything past them. And also be sure of the exact connections. Okay, that's interesting. Shift right-clicking on some machines with it will allow you to toggle multi-stack input, which can be very useful for automating certain assembler recipes. Okay. In order to complete this quest, you need to charge the soldering iron after you craft it. Well, we already did that, and... Right, we already know all of those. Alright, so we got that done. It does give us the soldering alloy wire, or I could take 3 loot bags. Soldering alloy is actually something we use to make circuits over here. It's actually not too hard to make. I think it's a combination of like 9 tin and... Is it antimony? In fact, we might as well have all the dust already down in the dust area. Let's go take a look. We just need a little bit. so that we can make some of those fine wires, I think. So let's come here. Nickel. Antimony. There's antimony. Do I have any tin dust? Tin. Where would tin dust be? There it is. One more. And then I think we put them into the mixer. What circuit would that be on? Soldering alloy, circuit 1. That there, put that there. 8 seconds, and we'll get, I believe that'll give us 10 of the dust, which I didn't have to smelt, of course, as well, don't I? So we have to put that into the furnace over here, or the steam oven. I keep calling this a furnace. I mean, it is a furnace. Ooh, we have some iron and a little bit of potent in here still. This will give us the soldering alloy we need. I think 8 is going to be enough to give us... Yeah, I think 8 will be enough to give us the... like a stack of the wire, which should be more than enough. So I'll just take 8 for now, and we'll throw that into the wire mill. Let's go take a look then. Head back up here. And once we get that done, we should be able to fix all those messages for maintenance, right? So the wire mill, where are you at? Here we are. Put you in there. Let's go to sleep since it is nighttime, and we should get some of that fine soldering alloy wire. There we go. Fine soldering alloy wire. Lovely. Let me put potent can go in here. Iron can go over here. And there we go. Lovely. All right, so this should work. If I come over to the maintenance hatch right here and put that there. All right, it did use one of them. Makes an interesting noise. And there we go, it's gone. All right, so we just need a soft mallet, hammer, and crowbar, and that will fix the remaining of the maintenance issues. Lovely. Right, so there's a lot of tools, actually, we might need. I think we can also make a new item as well. There was a quest for the toolbox right here. It's painful to carry all the tools in your inventory. You can put GT tools and soldering into IC2 toolbox to save space for inventory. You can also use it to do maintenance without taking out tools. Okay, all right, let's make this then. This sounds quite useful. Chest and bronze casing, that's it? Wow, we could have made that a long time ago, actually. Bronze casing is going to be inside of a cutting machine, I believe. And it was a chest as well it needs. That's it. There's a chest. Grab the rest of you. Make sure no circuit required. Chest, bronze casing. 15 seconds and we get a toolbox. Lovely. Alright, that should be quite good then. So I guess that means we could actually hold on to all the different tools we have from that. I'd still need them for crafting though. I do have some spares. So a hammer, a file. Which ones do we need actually right now? I already forgot. Soft mallet, hammer, crowbar. Ah, right. I can also empty out. This would be quite good. Plunger. So I wouldn't need to store these in my backpack anymore. Okay, this actually could be quite useful then. Try it. Toolbox. There it is. Your new friend. Let's see. So, can I just put these in here then? A cutter. We can put the soldering iron as well. Where's the soldering iron? There it is. Right, so it's already actually completely full up. I guess I don't need to put a plunger in there. I don't know why I would use that too much. That's used to unclog pipes which have fluids in them I don't want. I can keep that in there because I don't think we put a screwdriver yet. I'll keep the electric one in there for crafting, and we'll use that one right there if I need to use a screwdriver on the go. We adjust that wire cutter. That seems like a good order right there. Alright, so we should just be able to click this thing actually as well. Let's try that. Right, and no maintenance issues. Right, alright, so there we go. That's done. It says running fine. Okay, so we do need to still connect this up. You are fully charged, which is good. And all we need to do, we are going to need to grab the wire cutter. Okay, so this toolbox actually seems quite nice, doesn't it? Yeah, this is quite good, actually. I quite like this. I just noticed, actually, that uses a lot of power, doesn't it? Right, I have to keep an eye on that then. It actually used it again, I just noticed, too. Interesting. Right, so let's place these down. This does carry 4 amps, just making sure. Connect you, and connect you. Okay, nothing has blown up. It's a good sign so far. We have stuff in here. We have stuff right here. Nothing right here. And I think we're ready to go. We just need to load up the input bus, and I think we'll actually be able to make what we want to make, which is... What we need to make is actually the aluminum. That's the first thing we're going to make with this. This is a pretty big moment for us, actually. Right, so I need to grab some alumina dust and the cryolite, and we should be ready to go here. This is quite a big moment. So let's go head over here. How much do we want? How much alumina do I have? So I have 8 stacks. Cryolite, I have 19, right? So, actually, I just remembered, we are going to grab some of this because we are going to need this, but I want to frame the first aluminium ingot we make, and I think the best way to do that, actually, is going to be doing this one, because I'll only get 1, right? That way I'll be able to frame it, because if I do this, I'll get 4. Right, we'll grab these first. So, how much is it again? I keep forgetting. 10 and 20, right. So, if I come here... What was it again? 4, 5, and 10. So, it's basically double the alumina we would need. So, say like 2 stacks of alumina, 1 stack of cryolite then. Something like that would work. Although there might be a bit of extra left over, wouldn't there? Just trying to do the math in my head here quickly. 64, yeah, 128 plus 2 would be an even number, 130 of alumina dust. And then cryolite. Where did the cryolite go? Did I even pick that up? I did. I thought I did. Where did that go? I swear I picked it up. That was at... Oh, no, it's right there. Oh, my goodness. What am I doing here? There's cryolite right there. What on earth am I doing? All right. Right. I just put it all away. I think we just need a single one. That's 65. That would be 130, which would match up, I believe. Right, just trying to do some quick math right there so we don't have any extra. But we do need to get 1 piece of raw aluminium as well so I can make the first one. So let's go over here. And I do have... Actually, no, I have aluminium dust over here a little bit. That was from a long time ago. Yep, we have some there. I just need to put that, I believe, into a compressor to make some raw aluminium. So put you in there. See if that works. 4 seconds. There we go. Right, so this actually does need nitrogen then, doesn't it? No, not that. It actually can use other fluids as well, but gases, I guess. These are gases. Nitrogen, or we do 75 seconds. Uses less power, though. We don't need to use the power, right? It's just 1. It's just 15 extra seconds. We're only doing this 1 time for now. So if I put that in... Okay, moved over there, and this is not on, is it? Right, this should turn it on. Ooh. Alright, there we go. It's running. So we'll get our first actual made aluminium ingot. This is a pretty big moment, and these light up too, which is pretty cool. Looks quite nice. And has the pollution. So, how are we doing on power here? Doing quite good. Right, let's actually quickly... I just want to check down below as well. In fact, actually, no, the better way to do it would be to check... Well, no, I could check either wall, really. I'm trying to see how we're doing on Steam. I don't think we'll have any issues. Let's just check. Yeah, it's using a bit of Steam there. No, we're doing more than fine. I mean, this isn't even running over here, I suppose, so we're probably doing just fine on Steam right now. Right, so that will give us our first ever actual made aluminium ingot. We do need an item frame so we can actually frame it, so let's make an item frame then quickly. Item frame doesn't look too bad. Well, I don't have the string or the iron ring for that. But do I have string in here? No, I don't have string in there either. I have cotton, though. I think that will make me some string. I think I just need 3 pieces, if I'm remembering correctly. There we go. Iron ring would be an iron rod, which, of course, I don't have those over there. But I have a few here. So, do that. Hammer. File. Item frame, lovely. Right, we got that, and it looks like you have finished. Do we have our first aluminium ingot? We do! Right, I also want to quickly check one more thing before we take that out. Can this thing... Do I need to set up a conveyor module as well? In fact, let me grab... What do we have here? Ooh, steel chest has a little bit more space in it. Let's do that one. I just want to know if this thing actually is going to auto output, and it does! I don't even need a conveyor module for that. Right, so there it is. The first ever aluminium ingot we have ever made. Right, now we do actually have some in a chest over here. I believe we'll have to move those over. Right there, we have 4. Now for the quest to complete, we actually need 8. So let's go ahead and put the rest of the stuff in here then, now that we actually have that. Does this need a circuit for those? I know I've looked this recipe up like 10 times now today, but... Nope, that's not it. There it is. No circuit and no fluid, right. So, turn you off. Put the cryolite alumina in. And there it goes. Lovely. That should run a couple times around here, so we should get some, and we'll get 4 aluminium ingots in 80 seconds. Wonderful. Right, so let's go ahead and put this inside of our little trophy area here. We finally have a new ingot to put over here. The first ever aluminium ingot. Oh, I need to rename it, don't I? Because I actually renamed these in the anvil. First electronic circuit, first steel ingot. Right, should we do that quickly? It costs a few levels, actually. How do I take this out? Do I need a sword? There we go. Right, let's go rename that quickly then, and then, we'll go see how we're doing with that EBF again. Where's my anvil? I think it's over here. Right, so, also, let me swap over to that quick. So if I put that there, I can just rename this, I think. So, we'll just do... Yeah, it costs 5 levels, but I think it's worth it for a trophy like this. First aluminium ingot. Again, technically not the first one. Oh, let me swap back. I mean, the speed difference between when I have these boots on and when I don't, it is noticeable. Really noticeable. Right, so let's go add this to the frame over here and make it official. This is forever known as the first aluminium ingot. The first that we made, at least. And it's right next to our first ever steel ingot. Lovely. Alright, let's go to sleep now. It is nighttime. So yeah, I'm quite happy we got that done. The EBF is all set up and operating on, so... Quite good, isn't it? So, how are we doing right here? We still, getting more of this stuff? Perfect. That's 4 there. In fact, we need 8 for the quest. I think we had 4 over here. I didn't grab those yet, did I? That should knock out that quest. Where are they? There they are. And that... is getting ready for Tier 2 MV. We are making some progress. Right, so we're going to have to add this probably over here since this is going to become important to us very soon. Let's take a look quickly at the quest book. So we got that done. Now, in fact, actually, since we're at the quest book, let's take a look at what we still need to do in the MV age. Not MV age, LV age. We're not in MV yet. So we're 124 to 155 quests done, and my goal is I want to try and get every quest in LV done before we do MV. So what we still need to do, if we look at the view mode, the biggest thing remaining now that we made the EBF, we've unlocked this quest, which is the gallium arsenide crystal, I think. I actually haven't looked at that yet. So we need gallium and arsenic. Gallium arsenide crystal. Made inside the blast furnace, right? Gallium arsenide dust. How do you make that? You need the gallium arsenide crystal, but that's what we're trying to make. Right, there's a second one here. Just a gallium and arsenic dust in a blast furnace gives you that. Okay, but we do need to do that next because that is going to unlock the final big part of LV, which is right here. It's actually making the NV circuits and the circuit assembler, which technically we already have a circuit assembler because we got NV circuits from a loot bag really, really early on, so we were actually able to make this a lot sooner than we were, and it has been a big game changer for us, no doubt about that. But technically, that's the next thing we need to do. But what we still don't have is we still don't have the ability to make more NV circuits, which is basically what this is going to lead us to. So that's the next big thing. In fact, actually, this is the other reason we needed the EBF as well to make this crystal. So should we go ahead and get that done? Do we have gallium and arsenic? Let's go take a look, actually. Let's go see if we do. Because I know if we do have it, I know where it would be. It'd be down here, of course. So gallium dust... let's see. Do I have it? I want to say I do. Nope, that's silver. The easier way to do this would actually be to come here and press T. And we do not have it. So how do we get it? Raw gallium ore. I don't think gallium ore is something we can get at this time. Nope. Zinc. Don't think we have access to that either, do we? Small ores. There's also the bauxite. No, I've never seen that one. Sphalerite, right. Sphalerite was a way. But I'm not exactly sure how. Macerator, but we can't do that yet. Right, so I'm not sure how we would get gallium then. Sphalerite and zinc are the primary sources of gallium at this tier. Wait a minute. Centrifuge, maybe? No. Nope, not there. Maybe electrolyzer. Let's take a look at that one. There it is. Sphalerite dust and an electrolyzer gives us 9.17% chance at gallium. 9.17%. Okay, so that's how we would get gallium then, right? Arsenic then. Do we have any arsenic? Let's check that one. Nope, no arsenic either, right? But we don't have any of this stuff, actually. So how do we get arsenic, then? Let's take a look at that. Arsenic ore. Nope, can't make that yet. Can't mine it. I have absolutely no idea what that is. Arsenopyrite. What is that? No idea. That's kind of different, actually. And then there is also... Lowellangite, which is also a strange one. I have no idea what that is. Right. So, how do we get... Oh, maybe the quest will tell us. In fact, it tells us about gallium right there. Sphalerite and zinc. Arsenic. Where's the arsenic at? Now, here we go. You can get arsenic from real gore small ores in the nether at Y15 to 85. Centrifuge the dust in a centrifuge. Other sources are Tinker's Contra, Cobalt. Okay, we have some of this stuff, actually. Cobalt ore in the nether. Alright, we do have that. Cobalt ore right here. But how do I get arsenic from that? I just get cobaltite. How do you get arsenic from that, then? Alright, let's look at the actual recipes as well. Let's check that out, because it could be in the other ones as well, like centrifuge. Real guard dust. So that's the real guard dust, right? We might have some of that, actually. Let me look up real guard, because I do a lot of mining in the nether. So if I do that, it'll pop up. Ah, there we go. We have 17 impure piles of real guard dust and 23 crushed ore, right? So we could use that. What can I do with that? I can centrifuge it to get more real guard. Or if I put it into a centrifuge as the actual dust, that will give me arsenic, right? So I'll have to process that then. In fact, I'll just do that right now. That'll at least cover the arsenic. The gallium is just a matter, I think, of putting sphalerite in an electrolyzer, which I'm not actually sure where I have a spare one, but if I put these into here, that should give us arsenic. Oh, it will give us the real guard dust itself. This will give me... process that further along. Alright, that'll give real guard dust, and then it was, what was it again? Centrifuge, I think? Yeah, you put it back through the centrifuge to get the arsenic, right. Let me quickly check and see if we even have an electrolyzer around. Do I have one up here? Because I don't really know if I do. Oh, I do have one up here. Alright, maybe we will get those done. We might as well. I mean, that is the main reason we did the EVF. We might as well get the gallium and the arsenic done. So we need sphalerite for that, right? Sphalerite. Where is sphalerite at, then? Oh. This is the only issue with this wall of dust right here. I have no idea what the different dust... I mean, some of them look so familiar or similar to each other. Sphalerite, there it is. I found it. So let's see here. That is going to be electrolyzer 2. And that only has a chance, though. Did this already finish? No, it's still processing it. Alright, let's go throw those up here into the electrolyzer. I might actually add an electrolyzer down there. That might be an interesting idea. Since it seems like we need to process some stuff. Let's grab the wrench. I gotta get used to this toolbox now as well. Alright, did that give me gallium? Zinc? Sulfur? It is a chance, I guess, so we'll have to see if we get lucky on that. Right, how are we doing over here? 24 aluminium ingots, lovely, and we're doing quite good. So, still running. Getting more stuff. Power is actually draining in the batteries. Okay, that's actually interesting. Let's go take a look at what's going on with that, then. That's an interesting one there. The turbines are doing fine. So why are the batteries draining, then? I mean, they're not draining fast. So this thing can still run, but they're draining very slowly. I wonder if it could be the loss in the cables doing that, right? We might have to get on with getting that redstone alloy then, because that could save us an extra bit of things. Let's see, how much power are you using? 120 EU a tick. This thing is giving off 132. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Still draining a bit. Well, actually, wait a minute. How much is it inputting? That might be the more important question here. Average input is 122. Right. Interesting. It says 122 is the average input into that. And it's using 120. Unless the loss might be just under that, that might be it. So if I upgrade these to the lost cables, that will probably fix the problem. Okay, that might be what we have to do then. We might have to do that pretty quickly. So, there we go. Look at that. We have now 36 aluminium ingots over there. Alright, let's add these over to here. Alright, so do we have any gallium over here then? Yes, we do. 2 gallium. We only need the 1 to make this. We might as well get this done. So, arsenic dust. We have that. I believe we should be able to get that now. I think we have to put the wheel gore back through the centrifuge again. Let's see. Do we have that in? What is all this? Oh, this is the stuff I was processing. I think I was processing some nickel stuff. Cobalt type we got. Gonorite dust. And there's the real gore right there. So, does this have... I need to add more bales as well. We're running out of space again. Real gore. Did they have any other uses? Can be turned into an ingot. This is guaranteed as well. Right, let's do 20 for now. In fact, let's do 18 since, or 16 actually, since that would be one load of one run through of the centrifuge. Because it can do 8 things at once. Let's put that into there. How long will you take? 17 seconds to give me 8 arsenic dust. Lovely, that'll be a new dust for us. Right, so we should get that in just a moment. Once we get that, we can go ahead and make that, what is it, gallium arsenide crystal thingy? We might as well get that done. Right, so we have it. There it is, arsenic dust. All right, let's lock that. We just needed... I didn't get it. There we go. We got the 1, and let me lock it. There we go. We have arsenic, and we have gallium. So I think we just put that into the EBF, and that'll make the crystal for us. I'm going to stop you for now. Does this need a circuit also? Let's see. No circuit. We just put these in, and we're good. And, yeah, we are getting pollution now in this chunk. This is causing actually a lot of pollution already on its own. So, yeah, air filter is definitely something we need to deal with. I mean, I could just tell. Look at that. That just looks like pollution. I mean, I just got hit by the effects. So pollution is really a problem in this area right now. So air filter. Yeah, we've got a couple of things we need to get on with. We need to get those lossless cables so that we can support the power enough for this. Because I think that's why these are draining. And then we're going to have to deal with this pollution. I can immediately tell we're getting hit by it in this chunk now, too. So air filter, redstone alloy. We need to get those. We need to get on with that. Wait, how long does this take? 60 seconds? We should get that. Right, so while we're waiting for that to finish up, let's go put these here. And let's take a look at the quests that we've completed. So we got a... What did we get done? We got this one here. Getting ready for Tier 2 MV, which gives me a loot bag and some coins. Pretty common reward. And that just finished. Let's get the reward for that one. Gallium arsenide crystal. And let's get you back to work. Right there we go. Gallium arsenide crystal. And we got polluted again. Right, so we got that done, which is going to give me... To get either gallium arsenic dust, we know how to get those now. Let's just do the loot bag. And then we also finished up some quests as well. In multi-block goals, we got the soldering iron, which... 3 loot bags, or we could do the wire. We already got that, so loot bags will be the one we claim. And then this one here, the toolbox, which wants to give me more soldering alloy, but we'll do the loot bag. We already have the soldering alloy. Right, so we actually have quite a few loot bags to open up here. And this crystal, let me keep that in this chest. Yeah, we're going to put that in there for now. Right, let's get over here now. Right, so we do have a few loot bags to open up on. We'll end off with our loot bags like we normally do. So we have 6 LV loot bags here to open. Let's do it. We got some sandwiches and a file. Which one? Steel file. We got coke oven bricks. Lovely. We got a front chest. Steve's Quartz 2. Farm gearboxes. Ooh, 63 glass and block of compressed charcoal. Hang on a minute. Yeah, look at that. That's 9 charcoal. So that's like 16 times 9. So, what is that? Like 145, something like that, I think. Something like that. It's a lot of charcoal, actually. Charcoal blocks, I should say. That's pretty good, although we have a ton of those already as well. 63 glass was pretty good. I'll take that. And then one more loot bag. And apiary. And an electronic circuit, which we have a ton of those as well. Right, so there we go. We got our EBF up and running. It's looking quite good, producing quite a bit of pollution, it seems, but it's all right. Definitely have to deal with that pollution issue because it's starting to creep into us now, but we'll get there. We'll be making some new stuff with this as well. We definitely need to do the redstone alloy. But yeah, we'll get on with that at some point here pretty soon. We got aluminium. We can make it finally, so we're making some big progress. And we are doing quite well, I would say. So yeah, I think that is where we are going to end this episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.